Back in. Hi, welcome back. It's the Mike Gormley Show. We're listening and talking to Rich Ezra, uh, uh, definitely an expert on the music business of the past and of what's going on now, and has been teaching it to a lot of people over the years. Um, I, but I want to get into. I hope I'll bet you are well versed in this AI
Yeah.
and how that's going to affect. Well, we don't know how it's going to affect. We're getting to learn how it's going to affect everything.
Yeah.
But I was fooling around the other day with a couple of lines. I thought
Yeah.
I'd try to write lyrics, and I couldn't
Okay.
figure it out. I went to AI, and 30 seconds later, boom, a full song,
It
and
figured
not
it out for
fast,
you. Yeah.
you know. And I saw a demonstration about a week ago of folks who they took a friend into the studio. He said some things for 10 or 15 minutes. A week later, they played his voice saying things he never said.
Right.
So,
Yes.
what are your thoughts on what that might do to music?
Well, they're plentiful. I have been following the AI situation for the last like 2 years when it's really started to heat up. I have seen some demonstrations of things like you have, Mike, that just blow my mind. The one that was really kind of surprising, the most surprising, and it was in Music Business Worldwide yesterday. It was that they took, the song, what is it? Brenda Lee, the little girl had the Christmas hit,
Rocking
rocking
Around the
around the
Christmas
Christmas.
Tree.
Yes. They took the original master, they took the vocal off of it, just the vocal. Okay. She was 13 years old when she did it, gave it to this AI company. Okay. Just the vocal of her singing. And they gave it back to her. They gave it back to Universal with her singing the exact song, her doing it in Spanish. Now,
Yeah,
she doesn't speak Spanish. She never recorded it in Spanish, but based on that vocal, they were able to do it in Spanish, Chinese, Filipino. I mean, it's astonishing when you think of like what we could be able to do, with translation of songs. I think the other thing with regards to AI that I've seen that blew my mind was how what you just said. I saw somebody, it was a man and a woman on a stage singing. They both were singers, and they did a verse of a song, and then they stopped, and then he started up the song again. And when he sang, he was singing, you watch him singing on stage, her voice was coming out. So it was almost like you didn't even need to bring singers on tour with you. You could do the duet, without the person. So my feelings on AI, Mike, are that we're going to have a lot of implications to it. It's going to be extensive in composition. It's really kind of frightening to the, production music business because that is stuff that's made by real people. And if that, element can be cracked, it presents a huge ethical problem. But I think unfortunately we're already there. We've got, companies in China and companies over in Asia that are doing this already. They've got AI artists, they've got AI songs. Some of them, there's one that I read about in Music Business Worldwide that's already got like over 100 million streams to it. So I don't think it's going to ever completely replace. But my question to you is when you used it for that lyric, were you happy with what you got? Or did you feel you needed to do more work on it?
no, I was surprised. It's a phrase. I'm not. It's a line I said to a friend about 2 years ago,
Yeah,
and ever since he keeps saying you got to write something around that, and I hadn't been able to figure out how to fit it into this song. uh, AI did it in 30 seconds. And I looked
yes,
at it and went, why didn't I think of that? That works perfectly. So
right.
tighten them up a little bit, but not much. It was really a good set of lyrics.
Yeah. And
Uh,
here's the thing that's frightening about AI is that we always have these kinds of conversations around AI like we're having now, always around music. But what we forget, Mike, is that AI is going to affect every aspect of our
Ever.
life. It's going
Yeah.
to affect us technologically, musically, creatively, scientifically, medically. I mean, the list goes on and on. It's not just going to be about, writing songs or chat GPT or, whatever. It's going to affect all areas. And it is the next, I guess, evolution of technology. We only think of it in terms of, our own field, which is music, and it's going to have a profound impact. I totally believe that.
I'm gonna next week we're gonna have a gentleman named Martin Nethercutt on, who's a
Yes.
producer, and he's using it. And he did that demonstration I just referred to. That's why I said, "Well, come on the show and tell us what the hell are you doing in the studio and how is it affecting you?" Because he's there, he's making it.
Yeah. He's on the front lines doing it. That's
Yeah,
very exciting.
he'll
That's
be
very
he'll be on
exciting.
next week.
Yeah.
Um, Getting away from all the technical and everything, you're a very busy man. Do you ever get a chance to just listen to music for entertainment without having to judge it, without having to work it?
Yes, in my car.
Ah,
I still listen to music in my car. I have a CD player in my car, and I do all my pleasure listening in the car. Like when, if I go someplace and then I come home at night, it's like, a 30 or 40-minute drive. I will listen to music for pleasure. And I do listen to music here. I just got the brand new Tears for Fears album. It's a 2 CD live set with like 4 or 5 new studio tracks on the album. So,
mm,
I do listen to things, and I've just gotten in yesterday that new Joni Mitchell box set came in with all of her demos from like
oh my God.
Hajira, and I love studying stuff like that. I'm a big student of listening to like how songs were constructed, how they were put together, that kind of thing. So yeah, I do listen for pleasure a lot. I think it's very
I bet you
important.
she hates AI.
Yeah,
I'll no doubt Joni Mitchell hates AI.
I'm sure she does. And, and she's one of the most creative, brilliant artists of the 20th century. And
Oh, yeah,
I don't think that's an overstatement, to say. So yeah, I'm sure she does hate AI.
yeah. Well, too bad it's coming at us full force. Yes.
Exactly. So I think we need to find a way to embrace it. I don't think it's going to be the disaster or the catastrophe that everyone thinks. I think, we can work with it. It doesn't mean that it's going to completely 100% take over our work or our lives. I think that this is one of the things that people felt, when the internet came along. Or you remember when Napster came along, they thought, "Oh my
Yeah.
God, this is the end of the music business. No
Oh,
one will ever buy music again." Well,
weren't
that wasn't,
CDs
yeah.
considered the end of, when they knew, weren't CDs considered the end of the music industry, and they turned out to be the
Well,
lifesaver?
yes, yes, they were the lifesaver because they had a new format that was 3 times the price.
Mhm.
Records went from what, 6.99 or 7.99 to 18.99, and there were no recording costs to recoup from that, Alice Cooper or that Rolling
Yeah,
Stone CD or whatever it was. It was just a new format. And the 90s were, which is mid to late 80s, 90s is when the real economic boom of the CD business for record companies took off. And it was like minting money. I mean, it was amazing. That was such a healthy time in the business, financially speaking, where they
yeah,
could mine their catalogs and put shit out that either had been out of print or had, been in the discount bin in a brand new format, and people would buy it up.
sure.
You know,
And they buy it again.
yeah,
It would come out again 2 years later, and it would have a different, I don't know what, different pressing, different something was supposed to be an
yeah,
improvement.
remastered or whatever,
Yeah,
or
right.
yeah,
Yeah.
something or whatever it was. But yeah,
Oh well, we just keep going, right?
absolutely. But I think the thing is, we can't expect it to. It's like you can have success, you just can't expect it to look like it did in the past.
Right.
You can have successful artists, it's just not going to look like it did in the past, and that's something that I think people, have a very, very difficult time with. They want it to look like and sound like what they were familiar with, and I don't think that that's
Well, this is
that's going to happen.
the new people coming in won't have that background. So
Correct.
what they're going to do with it is going to be very interesting. And
Yeah.
and they are now. It's happening now.
Yeah,
So
and when they get older, you're gonna have them bitching and going, remember the days of Spotify
right.
when you could
Well,
make $4 on a million seller?
yeah, right. It was Gold mine.
Exactly. Exactly.
We're going to wind it up here. It's been a pleasure having you here and talking about things. Our paths don't cross very often anymore for some reason, so it's good to chat with you. And I knew
It's
you.
great to chat with you as well, Mike.
We're going to go out with a song that Rich picked by Robbie Neville called C'est la vie. And this is the Mike Gormley Show. Thanks so much, everybody, for listening in London and New York and Philadelphia and Boston and, of course, on the platforms all over the place. See you again next week. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.